Today we're going to be taking a look at how to mount an optical sight to your Taurus Raging Hunter revolver. Now, we'll be honest, the easiest way to do this is to find a red dot sight that has a Picatinny mount like this Trijicon RMR and attach it to the 1913 or Picatinny rail on the top of your Raging Hunter. That's it. If you want a zero magnification red dot, it is as easy as that. And everyone at this point has probably attached a red dot to a Picatinny rail at this point. But let's say you want some magnification. Let's say you want to put on a long eye relief handgun scope. Well, we are going to help you by walking you through that process using the 10.5-inch 460 Magnum Raging Hunter and the Crimson Trace long eye relief handgun scope. Now, of course, like always, first thing we want to do is we want to check to make sure that this revolver is clear. It is. We have no rounds in the chamber and nothing in the barrel, so we can go ahead and get started on the application process. Now, we want to make sure that we have the right size rings to do this with. Once we have our forward ring attached and we've got it just hand tight, we don't need this to be crazy tight or torqued down yet. We're going to go ahead and put our second ring on. Before we tighten this second ring down, we want to make sure that our placement is good so that not only will the scope fit on the weapon, but that we're actually able to get it as far forward as possible so that we can get the most eye relief out of this scope as we can get. This looks pretty good to me. We've got it nice and far forward of the rear sight, so we'll be able to see and get the largest field of view possible. So I can go ahead and take that scope out, and I can go ahead and again tighten these down till I get them hand tight, at which point we're going to go ahead and switch to our torque wrench. Making sure that we get at least 15 inch-pounds of tightness and no more than 25 on these bases. All right, those are torqued in. So now we can go ahead and drop our scope into place. We want to make sure that this is nice and level. And ideally, you should use a level to do this. And then we can go ahead and start adding our rings on by matching up our screws to the scope rings. Now, we are definitely not going to torque these down immediately. Once we have our screws and rings aligned, we're going to go ahead and get this just hand tight. Nothing crazy. And then we're going to use an old hunting trick to make sure that it's level by leaving this loose enough that we can still manipulate the scope in the rings. And we'll use the horizontal bit of the crosshair and make sure that it lines up level with the plane of the rear sight. You can do that just by aiming down your scope, acquiring a distant target, and then using your support hand just to make an adjustment back and forth as necessary to level that reticle off. If you have a fixture that you can secure the gun in while you're doing that, it does make it a little bit easier to adjust the reticle back and forth. But now that it's been nice and leveled off, we're going to begin the process of tightening the screws down the rest of the way. And there's a very specific way that you want to go ahead and tighten these screws. So you're going to start on the front left ring, and you're going to get this one down till it's nice and snug. Then you're going to go to the back right ring and get that one down until it's nice and snug. Then you're going to go to your top right, snug that one in. then bottom left. Then you're going to go up here to your bottom top left. Then your bottom top right. Then the second on the right. Get these just snugged in. And then your last one here, which you haven't tightened yet. Everything now should be nice and hand tight, so we can go ahead and switch out to our torque wrench to make sure that we've got these things torqued in. Again, the same as the bases. We want a minimum of 15 inch-pounds, no more than 25 inch-pounds on each one of these. We're going to go ahead and stabilize the revolver. We're just going to go and torque. There's my 15. We're going to tighten these up in the same alternating pattern so that I'm never tightening one side of the scope fully without making sure that there's equal pressure on both sides. Now, finish it. All right. Each one of the screws has been tightened to 15 inch-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick sight picture again, make sure everything stayed nice and level. It did because we tightened the screws appropriately, alternating sides on the optics. And that's it. Your long eye relief handgun scope is now attached to your Taurus Raging Hunter 460 Magnum, and you are ready to head to the range and zero your optic.